Hey guys, I am the Comics Kid 2099, and I am here to do a video on
Missed opportunities.
If you've never seen one of these videos before, basically I take a look at a book or a movie or a TV show and I say they did this, but instead they should have done that. I've done several. You can go check those out. In my opinion, they're really fun to watch. Right now, I am going to be talking about a Superman storyline. This is from around 2006. If you are not aware, around that time, DC Comics did this thing called 1 year later, where basically every comic book being published by DC jumped forward 1 year. And this, in my opinion, was a really great idea conceptually, because if you have always wanted to get into the Teen Titans, but for the last 5 years it's just been really hard to get into it, you can finally, with this 1 year later idea, you can just jump in, because even for people who are hardcore fans, it's still a good jumping on point, if you know what I mean. You could have been reading Teen Titans your entire life, and this will still be a fresh start. This will add new elements to the story, and in a lot of ways, like I say, it's just a good jumping on point. Now, that's not to say that it was entirely successful. I know a lot of the comics with the 1 year later point on, I guess, they didn't quite work in different ways. That's neither here nor there. This story is one of those. It happened very shortly after the 1 year later stuff. I actually, fun little story, I got this book for free. I had ordered something on eBay. It was a different Superman book, I think. And when I opened the package a little while later, this was inside, as well as the book I had ordered. I went ahead and sent the guy an email. I said, did you know you sent me this? I didn't order it. Do you want me to send it back? And he was like, no, you don't have to. I've got another one that someone else has ordered it, and I can just send them this other one I have. You can keep that. So that was very nice of that guy. I read it. Turns out I didn't really like it. That's okay, though. I'm not here to do a full-blown review. Maybe someday, if people want me to do it. Right now, I'm specifically talking about one thing in it that I think should have been done differently. So, if you have never read Superman Last Son by Jeff Johns, Richard Donner, and one of the Kubert brothers, I'm going to be talking a little bit about it, and as long as my thumb is pointed up, I'm going to be doing spoilers. So, if you still have an urge to read this and you have not yet read it, I'm going to have my thumb up, and then once my thumb goes down, you can just mute the video, and once my thumb goes down, I'll be done talking spoilers. But, little hint, I'm going to be pretty much talking spoilers for the rest of the video, so maybe if you haven't read this, you just don't need to watch this video. So, the quick plot synopsis of this book. Here we go. Okay. So, in this book, you've got a little boy. He's about 8 or 9 years old. He comes from the Phantom Zone. As it turns out, it is General Zod's son. Somehow, it doesn't really make sense. General Zod and one of his lackeys, I don't remember if her name is Ursa or Feora. Basically, Ursa and Feora are the exact same character. They had a kid. There's this one tiny spot in the Phantom Zone where the Phantoms can age, and usually in the Phantom Zone they do not age, but in this one spot they can, and it is there that these two procreated, and they had a child. And this little boy grew up in the Phantom Zone, and I don't actually remember how it happened, but the little boy, he is sent to Earth somehow, and he's a really great kid. He is basically, this is an example of the apple definitely falls very far from the tree. This kid is General Zod's son, but he is not a world conqueror. He is not bent on destroying the planet. He's just a little boy. And Superman rescues this kid from the government, and then basically he and Lois Lane adopt this little boy. They name him Chris Kent, which is a nice little reference to Christopher Reeve. And then for the rest of the story, he is their adopted son, I guess you could say. The problem I had with this book, one big problem I had, was that by the end of the story, there's this new plot development where it turns out Chris Kent has to be sent back into the Phantom Zone. If he stays on Earth, that remains, I guess, there's a chance that the Phantom Zone will be opened up and all of the Phantom Zone criminals will come to Earth. Spoiler alert, but at one point the Phantom Zone criminals do come to Earth. They take over the planet, and then it's one of those things where Superman realizes the little boy has to go back into the Phantom Zone so that everyone else will get sucked back in. It's kind of nonsensical. I don't really, it's been a little while since I've read it, so I don't exactly remember all the specifics about it. I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, Superman does not send the boy to the Phantom Zone. He goes willingly. He says, this is something that has to happen. I have to do this to save your planet. And then, at the end of the story, status quo is restored. Superman and Lois no longer have a son. So, that's the end of the plot synopsis. However, like I said, if you have not read this book, I'm still going to be talking a little bit about one of these specific plot elements in here. So, if you are afraid of spoilers, even though my thumb is not going to be up because I'm tired of holding my thumb up, there will still be spoilers a little bit throughout the rest of this video, so be warned. Basically, the missed opportunity that I wanted to talk about here is that I really think that Christopher Kent should have stayed as part of the supporting cast for Superman. I think it would have been hugely interesting to see Superman acting as a father figure to this little boy. I think it would have been very interesting to see the reaction that other superheroes might have. If you have someone like Batman and Wonder Woman, they both know Superman's secret identity, and then they say, oh, you've got a 9-year-old boy with you. You wait, he's the son of a crazy power-mad general from Krypton? Oh, that's not good, Clark. It would have been interesting to see Clark saying, listen, this boy needs guidance. He needs a father. I'm going to be there for him. I don't care what you have to say about this. And also, it would have been a nice little injection of something new into the Superman comics. The whole 1 year later idea, that was supposed to be what that was, injecting new life into all of these titles. And with Superman, outside of this little boy briefly being part of the status quo, there wasn't a whole lot of different between this and, say, a Superman comic from 1 year earlier. It was all basically the same old story, same old song and dance. I really think to make things feel different, truly different, they should have just had Superman actually adopt this little boy and not fake it, not cop out at the end. I think that would have been really interesting, and I think I would have actually been interested in reading the other Superman books that take place after this one if, for a long time, Superman is the father to this boy from the Phantom Zone. I think that could have been really great. Unfortunately, everyone behind the story didn't think so. I'm not sure if it was editorially mandated that the boy would go back into the Phantom Zone, or if it was something that the creators of the story just thought that would be what they would do. I know that Chris Kent eventually comes back and is used in a different way. That's okay. I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to say what it is. I do know how he was used, but let me just say the way he is used after this story is not the way I would rather see him be used. I would much rather just see him be the unofficial son of Superman. There are just so many different cool things I think could have been done with Superman as a father. I think that would have been a really fantastic place to take the series. Unfortunately, that is not how it was done. I'm curious, do you guys agree with me? Do you guys think that this would have been awful, awful stuff? Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear and see your thoughts on this subject. Until then, I will see you guys later on with some other kind of video. I will see you guys then. Have a good day.